Marc Marquez's joining Ducati Lenovo seems to put pressure on Pecco Bagnaia. The reason is, Marquez appeared more dominant than Bagnaia in the first 4 series of MotoGP 2025. Ducati manager Davide Tardozzi seemed to give a warning to Pecco, Bagnaia's nickname, who was previously the main racer for the Italian team. Tardozzi even considered Bagnaia to complain too often, which caused problems within Ducati. He, Pecco Bagnaia, Ed, is not the type of racer who is willing to ride a motorbike that does not suit his riding style. This is a problem for the team because his complaints about the Ducati motorbike seem to never end. Pecco should think as a world champion, he must be able to manage the existing problems, said Tardozzi. Even so, Tardozzi still has high confidence in Bagnaia. He continues to wait for the 28-year-old racer to find his best rhythm again. We are quite happy with the results, in MotoGP Qatar 2025, Ed. He showed his speed, said Tardozzi. Ducati boss Claudio Domenicali is worried about the rivalry that has emerged between his 2 riders, Marc Marquez versus Pecco Bagnaia. In general, Domenicali is happy and proud because Marc and Pecco have won the race so far. However, Domenicali is also worried that Marc's rivalry with Pecco could create its own challenges in the Ducati Lenovo garage. I'm not just worried, but demanding the team to monitor the competition carefully, he told GP1. Indeed, I am also very happy with the team's performance in the first 4 rounds. However, this will not be easy for Pecco because Marc, as soon as he arrived, was able to immediately adapt to the GP25 motorcycle, added Domenicali. According to him, Marc was able to immediately find confidence since the first series, Thailand. However, he, Pecco, knows that Marc is not invincible. The 5th series of MotoGP 2025 will be held at Circuito de Jerez Angel Nieto, MotoGP Spain, on April 25 to 27. 2 Ducati factory riders, namely Pecco Bagnaia and Marc Marquez, are favorites to win the race there. Pecco is the champion of MotoGP Spain for the last 3 seasons, 2022, 2023, and 2024, and the holder of the all-time lap record in Jerez, which is 1 minute 36.025 seconds, 2024. Meanwhile, Marc Marquez also deserves to be favored because the owner of the number 93 motorbike is on fire, leading the standings, and has also won MotoGP Spain, 2014, 2018, 2019. Pecco enters Jerez as the favorite. He's good there. However, Marc is also good, MotoGP observer Neil Hodgson told TNT Sports. Hodgson believes that Pecco is currently excited because MotoGP is entering the European Tour, 12 consecutive series including MotoGP Spain. This is the point where Pecco has to change something, he said. According to Hodgson, Pecco should have realized his shortcomings so that he has not yet appeared as fierce as Marc Marquez. Pecco's deficit behind Marc Marquez is too far for someone in his class, he said. Of the 8 races, 7 of them belonged to Marc Marquez. Only 1 was won by Pecco, and that was because Marc Marquez crashed and failed to finish. That may not be a big deal right now, because there are still many races. However, Pecco should have realized he has a speed problem, said Hodgson. Pecco couldn't get close to Marc on Sunday race. He should have been going faster all weekend, and he should have done that since Friday morning, FP1, to find stability immediately. He can't beat Marc at all if he can't do that, he added. Hodgson also admitted that he is a fan of Pecco. I'm a big fan of Pecco, he's a 2-time MotoGP champion, he's amazing. This, Ducati Lenovo, is actually Pecco's team, Pecco's garage. I sympathize with Pecco, he said. Don't just focus on Saturday, qualifying and sprint, focus on everything, because Marc has destroyed you, added Hodgson. According to Carlo Pernat, a senior in the MotoGP paddock who has a lot of experience with the dynamics and contracts of riders, Pedro Acosta will be the center of the future rider market instead of Fabio Quartararo. And he predicts that El Diablo will remain loyal to Yamaha forever. As is known, Quartararo is currently tied to a contract with Yamaha in MotoGP after signing a long-term deal last year. To retain the French rider, Yamaha must spend quite a lot of money, reaching €12 million, Rp. 227 billion, per season to pay his salary. Since winning the 2021 MotoGP World title, the competitiveness of Fabio Quartararo and Yamaha has decreased drastically. Although there are signs of improvement, the manufacturer with the tuning fork logo has not been able to compete to win races, let alone championships. I think it is much more difficult for Fabio to leave Yamaha. Firstly, because if Ducati had a place available, Acosta would be the first to be considered because he is much younger. Secondly, because 2 years ago Quartararo already made the choice to stay with Yamaha and maybe today he is in a position to stay committed to that decision. Although Yamaha is struggling now, it doesn't make sense that they can't recover. But KTM has a different case. They are faster in development but they don't have the history and stability like Yamaha. Yamaha will be competitive again and Fabio will be part of that revival, said Pernat. Unlike previous years, now KTM has withdrawn from their status as Ducati's main challenger. On the other hand, Yamaha has started to crawl forward in the 2025 season. The presence of Pramac as a satellite team also helps Yamaha's development, because now they have 4 riders on the MotoGP grid so they get more data. Quartararo showed his ability again. The rider who just turned 26 managed to occupy 3rd position in qualifying, then finished 5th in the sprint and finished 7th in the main race at MotoGP Qatar. Not only Yamaha, Honda, which has also been slumping for the past few seasons, has started to improve. Initially I thought Yamaha would make faster progress than Honda, but Honda has also made a lot of improvements from Zarco. Johan Zarco did an extraordinary job with the RC213V. Aprilia racing rider Jorge Martin was officially released from Hamad General Hospital on Sunday, April 20, 2025. However, the 2024 MotoGP World Champion has not been allowed to leave Qatar, so he cannot return to Spain. Martin is known to have had a horror accident in the main MotoGP Qatar race on April 13, 2025. His RSGP motorbike skidded at turn 13 on lap 14. Fabio Di Giannantonio, who was riding behind him, was unable to avoid it. Jorge has been released from Hamad General Hospital and will remain in Qatar for a few more days until his medical condition is stable. Once his condition allows him to go home, an assisted flight will be arranged so he can return to Europe, said Aprilia. Giannantonio admitted that he was scared when he saw Martin fall in front of him. He was in front of me, a bit wide. I wanted to overtake, I was quite close, but he fell. When I was on the asphalt, I hit him. I couldn't avoid it, and it happened at a speed of around 200 km/h, he said via Motosprint.